friendly earth. It was March 9th in the year 1959 that the first Barbie doll goes on display at the American Toy Fair in New York City. 11 inches tall with a waterfall of blonde hair, Barbie was the first mass-produced toy doll in the U.S. with adult features. The woman behind Barbie was Ruth Handler, who co-founded Mattel Inc. with her husband in 1945. After seeing her young daughter ignore her baby dolls to play make-believe with her paper dolls of adult women, Handler realized there was an important niche in the market for a toy that allowed little girls to imagine the future. Barbie's appearance was modeled on a doll named Lily, based on a German comic strip character. Originally marketed as a racy gag gift to adult men in tobacco shops, the Lily doll later became extremely popular with children. Mattel bought the rights to Lily and made it its own version, which Handler named after her daughter, Barbara. With its sponsorship of the Mickey Mouse Club TV program in 1955, Mattel became one of the first toy companies to broadcast commercials to children. They used this medium to promote their new toy, and by 1961, the enormous consumer demand for the doll led Mattel to release a boyfriend for Barbie. Handler named him Ken after her son. Barbie's best friend, Midge, came out in 1963. Her little sister, Skipper, debuted the following year. Over the years, Barbie generated huge sales and a lot of controversy. On the positive side, many women saw Barbie as providing an alternative to traditional 1950s gender roles. She has had a series of different jobs, from airline stewardess to doctor to pilot and astronaut to Olympic athlete and even U.S. presidential candidate. Others thought Barbie's never-ending supply of designer outfits, cars, and dream houses encouraged kids to be materialistic. It was Barbie's appearance that caused the most controversy, however. Her tiny waist and enormous breast. It was estimated that if she were a real woman, her measures would be 36, 18, 38, and it led many to claim that Barbie provided little girls with an unrealistic and harmful example and fostered a negative body image. Despite the criticism, sales of Barbie-related merchandise continued to soar, topping $1 million annually by 1993. Since 1959, over 1 million dolls in the Barbie family have been sold around the world, and Barbie is now a bona fide global icon. It was March 9th in the year 1996 that legendary cigar-chomping performer George Burns continues his eternity at his home in Beverly Hills, California, just weeks after celebrating his 100th birthday. Born Nathan Birnbaum in New York City, Burns was one of 12 children. As a young child, he sang for pennies on street corners and in saloons, and at age 13, he started a dance academy with a friend. In 1922, Burns was performing the latest in a string of song and dance acts in New York, New Jersey, when he teamed up with a fellow performer, Gracie Allen. Though Allen began as the straight one in their partnership, her natural comedic ability prompted Burns to rewrite their material to give her most of the punchlines. From then on, Burns played the straight man to Allen's ditz with hilarious results. By the time Burns and Allen married in 1926, his brief first marriage to the dancer Hannah Siegel ended in divorce. They had already become known in the vaudeville circuit. The 1920s were a golden era for vaudeville performers, and Burns and Allen were only two of a number of greats. Their peers included Milton Berle, Al Jolson, Fanny Brice, Bert Lahr, and Jack Benny, Burns' close friend, who successfully made the transition to other forms of entertainment. After making their radio debut in 1929, the pair landed a regular show, The George Burns and Gracie Allen Show, which aired from 1932 to 1950 on the NBC network. In the late 1930s, the program's audience numbered more than 40 million people, and NBC paid Burns and Allen $10,000 per week. Wow, an enormous sum for the time. The couple also played themselves on the big screen in a number of films, including International House in 1933, Many Happy Returns in 1934, Damsel in Distress in 1937, and College Swing in 1938. In 1950, the George Burns and Gracie Allen Show made a seamless transition to television, airing on CBS and becoming one of the top-ranked programs for the duration of the decade. The Burns-Allen team remained in the public eye until Allen's retirement in 1959. She continued her eternity of a heart attack in 1964 at the age of 58. Though Allen was a Roman Catholic, Burns buried her with Episcopal rites, explaining that as a Jewish man he couldn't be buried in Catholic consecrated ground, and he wanted to be buried beside her. After Burns underwent major heart surgery in 1975 at the age of 79, his career got a second wind. That year, he played a retired vaudevillian in the film adaptation of Neil Simon's play, The Sunshine Boys, co-starring Walter Matthau and Richard Benjamin. Burns won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for the role. After that, there was no shortage of movie parts for the octogenarian actor who played God in Oh God in 1977 and its sequels, Oh God, Book 2, 1980, and Oh God, You Devil in 1984, in which Burns was featured as both God and the Devil. He also starred in Just You and Me, Kid in 1979, Going in Style in 1979, and 18 Again in 1988. In 1988, Burns won an award for Lifetime Achievement from the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. He wrote two best-selling autographical works, including Gracie, A Love Story in 1988, and All My Best Friends in 1989, along with 8 other books that earned him his well-deserved reputation as an invaluable first-hand observer of the history of 20th century entertainment. It was March 9th in the year 1997 that rapper Notorious B.I.G. continued his eternity. Christopher Wallace, a.k.a. Biggie Smalls, a.k.a. the Notorious B.I.G., is shot at a stoplight in Los Angeles. This shooting was thought to be the culmination of an ongoing feud between rap music artists from the East and West Coast. Just 6 months earlier, rapper Tupac Shakur was shot while in his car in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas. Ironically, Christopher Wallace's continuance of eternity came only weeks before his new album, entitled Life After Death, was scheduled to be released. Wallace was the most prominent East Coast practitioner of gangster rap. His 1994 record, Ready to Die, sold millions. That same year, Shakur, the West Coast leading rapper, was shot several times in a robbery at a recording studio in New York. Shakur claimed that Wallace was partially responsible and later taunted Wallace on one of his songs. He claimed to have slept with Wallace's ex-wife, singer Faith Evans, and insulted the overweight rapper for his ample girth. Wallace's raps about violent street life were not completely fiction. He grew up in a poor section of Brooklyn and had many run-ins with the law growing up. Even after he reached stardom in the music world, his legal woes continued. In the summer of 1996, he was arrested when police found marijuana and firearms at his New Jersey home. He also gave a new meaning to fan appreciation when he assaulted a pair of admirers with a baseball bat. The shooting of Christopher Wallace has never been solved, though it has been suggested that either Marion Suge Knight, the former head of Death Row Records, Shakur's label, or the Crips gang may have been responsible. Knight was also shot but not wounded seriously in the fatal Las Vegas attack on Shakur, and is rumored to have engineered a retaliatory strike against Wallace, whom he held responsible for the Las Vegas shooting. Knight has been incarcerated for a fatal hit and run since 2018.